So what I did this morning was I got the cast down to look at fitting the core dancers in their tunics for the sci-fi convention scene. So I got them all into the tunics to see what length they should sit at, and then the one that sat the shortest on someone, I then matched all of them to fit that same length. And the reason that is because once it's harder to add than it is to take away. So going from the shortest one will make it easier to adjust everything to be the same as that one rather than vice versa. I also, something I had to consider when doing it was doubles, as there is two casts. I had to think about who was sharing. So they all got into their separate cast groups and then into pairs of people who were the similar height. This was a bit confusing, particularly afterwards. So when they were taking them off, I made sure to ask each of them for their name and their partner's name just to check that I had got it correct. And earlier I had, I think I mentioned that I color coded each of the numbers just to make it easier for me to see. And so I did that again. So the color is for the number, and then I put that in a list for each of the pairs, where it is also highlighted the same on my cast list, just to make it clearer for me and easier to keep track of. And so when we actually get to it, I know which one belongs to which person. Because when I was adjusting the length, some people are taller, some people are shorter, the length will appear different on them, so it's important that they have the correct one. And I have the numbers labelled on them, and several copies now of my list of who is in what. So that will help me in future. To get the right measurement, I measured firstly from the foot up to the where the hem of the dress sat, and then from the knee up to where the hem of the dress sat, just sort of like a double checking one, just to see, rather than just having one measurement. It sort of made it easier to know what I was looking for, and if I'd made a mistake, if one of them was way off, I could go, oh well, I know that's wrong because the other one doesn't match up, and then I try again and fix it. So that was quite helpful. I also worked on making four more headbands for the sci-fi scene. So I replicated the ones that had already been ready made by gluing the balls onto the headbands in similar patterns and ways, and added some pom-poms, and I spray painted that as well to match, and then I left them out to dry. What I also did was then start looking at what I could add to the back of the jackets that Eddie, Huey, Wayne, and Leia have. They will have little letters to go on the front, and Eddie and Leia having their full names on the back. And I looked at the font Varsity, which is the one that is used on those jackets. I also need to look for and find a suitable joined up font for the back of the jacket, which will have their full name on, and the front will have the Varsity font. So I printed out these picture of each of the letters that I needed in the Varsity font, and then I traced around that. I only managed to do the E today, cutting out, but I traced around the E in three different colours, in three different pieces. Two were white and one was yellow. And what I'll do is layer these on top of each other and sew them together, which will create the 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 effect of the letters similar to how it usually is on those jackets.